What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Morning Marketplace. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of the week. I feel like this is my 48th stream of the week, and I can feel it right here. But good news, we're getting to 49 because we have the happy hour this afternoon, which we'll talk more about later. Excited to dive into UFC today. First and foremost, who has made it in attendance this morning? I see regulators here, DC1, Devilar, We the Peoples here, Kevin Forge, good morning, throwing some Skylar Diggins Smith for MVP in the chat, courtside here to the house, 90s fan, Gurjot, Ryan B. Slides, Orion's here, Rowdy Rod, F it Nico, Milo, Willis, CD, will this be UFC or just a segment? Willis, great question. We're going to talk about UFC until we run out of stuff to talk about, and then we'll talk about some other stuff. Also, look at that little sweet Wi-Fi notification on my end telling me my Wi-Fi is bad, and I can see myself on YouTube frozen. Hopefully, I'm back now. Adam Stubbs, I see you. Blazemore, Joker Rock, DC1, 9 is here. Airplane mode. Garen, good morning. Less than 24 hours and you're back in Vegas. Wow. Good luck, Garen. The captain, Trickerberg, Brent, Details, Eric Fernandez. Who else we got? Colton, Snoop-a-Loop. All right. Yeah. So a lot of people are asking, guys, this is like week 4 of this. So honestly, this is on you for not doing your homework. Okay. The way we've been programming lately is Wednesday is going to be our NFL day. UFC is on Friday. And then we'll probably do UFC stuff for like 35 minutes or so. And then we'll move on to whatever else is happening in the wide world of Dapper. And that's kind of how we're cooking. Colton says not a ton of flash in that shirt. Listen, you can't go all flash all the time. That's the thing about flashes, right? You have to, you gotta pace out the flashing. Okay. Speaking of flashing, Serial Flasher is joining us today. What a terrible introduction, calling them a serial flasher. I'm very excited for our guest who really doesn't need an introduction. Now I sound like David Letterman. But this guy's been a part of the community from the beginning and is very generous with his time, both for streamers and for Twitters and for everybody else. Just a good old man of the community. Steve, Mr. Intangible.eth. How are we doing, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Honestly, I said this in the DM, almost offensive. This is your first time on stream, right? I mean, I look in the mirror. This is my fault, not your fault. But I'm glad we're finally doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, better late than never. And I mean, your show is awesome. So I'm happy to be on.
That was a positive way to look at that. But let's get deep down. I'm sure he was like, screw this man. Screw this man.
A little bit. Yeah.
It's been cool. We've met a couple of times now. And again, I apologize if I go full frozen for a second as my computer's doing something. Okay, we should be good. But we've met a couple of times, right? So the NFT All-Star game where I saw you almost do one of the most incredible dunks I've ever seen, where it was a cuff kind of coming around. It was incredible.
Yeah, the cradle.
The cradle. And honestly, that's the only missed dunk I ever talk about.
Well, the thing was, I was making them before like the competition, right? I was making them like practice for fun.
Yeah.
But I might have gassed myself, so that was my own fault.
Hey, listen, well, that's what happens when we do 2 hours of warm-ups. You hear that, Pack Drip? There was too many warm-ups. That was all before the game. I was gassed immediately. And then we get to meet in Vegas, which you spent, I don't know, 6 months in Vegas over this summer?
It feels like it. Yeah, no, it was 10 days, but yeah, it feels like 6 months.
And similarly, where are you getting married next weekend?
Tomorrow.
Oh my God! You're on stream before.
I know. When you invited me on, I said I gotta make time. I told my fiance like we're canceling the photo shoot. I'm going on stream. Like this is more important.
No, please tell me you did not move any schedule.
I didn't move anything. It was open in the morning, but like it's gonna be a busy day for me.
Yeah, I'm sure that's so exciting. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine because I am like 2 weeks behind you right now.
Yeah,
and
congrats, by the way.
Thank you. You as well. Because I'm excited to get to the point that you're at right now where there's just like no more conversation about it. Like there's no more planning. It's just like, hey, it's here. We're going to have the thing now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not there. I think there's still a couple of things I have to do. So, I wish I was there. I don't know if you'll get there, to be honest. I mean, there's always something left to do until the very end.
My mom, I promise we'll start talking about UFC in a second. My mom called me yesterday, and bless my mom for figuring out the solution before calling, which I really appreciate. Like, instead of just calling with the problem, she's like, so we booked our hotel months ago, 5 rooms for multiple family members in Portland, Oregon, which is in the wrong Portland, as we are getting married in Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine. Nice.
And both of our hotels are all booked up. So she's like, but I got a hotel. We're in Portland. Everything's fine. But it's the conversations like that I'm excited to no longer exist in just a few weeks, hopefully. Hopefully.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, congratulations. I won't take up too much of your time then, but you built the first like Top Shot thing that I ever messed around with was intangible.market, excuse me. And to see it kind of like brought me back to like my roots when I saw that you came out with a UFC tool as well.
Yes,
Talk
sir.
to me a little bit about like the origin of that, and I'll drop a link in the chat too if people want to poke
like
around.
the origin of the UFC tool.
Or just like you building Top
things.
Shot, and then like kind of why UFC.
So some people know me, some people don't, but I was an early like user of Top Shot and I loved it. And there weren't any tools for it, but I'm a software developer. I said I'm going to build some tools. So I built some of the first tools for collecting on Top Shot. So I built them. I launched my first tool in August of 2020, and then I kind of iterated on it. I wrote the first valuation tool, count valuation tool, around Christmas time of December 2020.
Yep.
And then like things went crazy after that with January and February and whatever. And then so many other people kind of did similar things. And I decided, well, I'm not really interested in developing like a valuation thing anymore. So I kind of discontinued it. But I've recently come kind of full circle back to it to develop. And, the tool I released last weekend was this UFC tool.
Yeah.
And the origin there was, well, I don't know a thing about UFC. Like I'm so clueless, but like their website, like I love UFC Strike and all, but it's just kind of clunky. And I don't think they do a good job of articulating or communicating why I should be a fan,
right?
Or learning about the sport. So first and foremost, I just kind of wanted to make a way to like organize my collection because I didn't know what I had. And then I'm just trying to iterate on this to make something where eventually you'll be able to learn more about the sport, right?
And I do think they're aware of that a little bit too. I think it's pretty slick if you are already a UFC fan, right? Like if you already know who you're looking for and you're like, I know this fighter, I know, like, sure, you know how to move yourself through the website a little bit. But you're right, it is not. If you are new to UFC, it is a little bit clunky, I think, like you said, is the best way to put it. It's a little bit tough to move around. I know they said that is on like their forefront of adjustments that they're making this summer is a little bit of the UI, and it's much needed because you're right, it is very confusing. And like just an NFL All Day is having a similar thing too, where it should be very easy to sort through the moments that you have, and it's not. So let's take a look at you. Yeah, 90s fan saying right like that. Can we organize the collection NFL All Day as well? Let's take a look at the at what you've developed, and we'll start. And this is just the UFC component right here. So kind of so should I put my name in first?
No, we'll do that in a second. But like,
okay, cool.
Just kind of laying the groundwork.
Yeah.
The way I write tools, like super bare bones, it might not look super fancy or have all the bells and whistles, but feature wise, it does exactly what you want it to do, right? So I build for like function, not like form. But here, high level, I basically grabbed all the data I could from UFC Strike and tried to organize it in a way that made sense to me. So series, set, tier, name, event, etc. And then like minted how many are minted, right? How many are listed in the market and the market price. So like high level, like this was just what I have. And if you scroll down, like the list isn't very long. There aren't that many moments.
Right.
Like this is the entirety of UFC Strike. Like there aren't that many moments on it. It's about approximately 150, right?
Right.
That's not a lot compared to like Top Shot. Top Shot's got like 3,000 plus moments, like play types.
Right.
So this is just like a rounding error. This is basically like MGLE set on Top Shot.
It's so funny too, because I think everyone is so focused on, well, because of our Top Shot experience, right? Like scarcity, and screaming that out, which rightfully so. But then when you put it in that terms, like this is basically a set in Top Shot right now, a rare set that is of just like 150 moments, which is pretty incredible. Still early, as they say, still early.
Still early.
Also, I see Callum in the chat who is over with the UFC Strike team saying soon, so we'll be seeing it soon. What I like about this too is this seems pretty easy. Like if we just wanted to, oh wait, what was I just going to do? Here we go. If we just wanted to sort by Amanda Nunes, who's fighting this weekend, there you go. So you can see that she has one moment. It's a champion moment as well.
How about this one? Clear that thing. Type in champion under tier.
Ooh,
right?
Okay, here we go.
This is why I like these. The way I wrote this is because, like, okay, so scroll down.
Yep.
Like the total number of champion moments that exist is 2,604.
Wow.
Right. Like, you can get very quick insights as to like how many exist on the platform because they have this new champion club, right? If you have a single champion moment, you belong to the club.
Which is incredible.
Like the upper limit is like 2,604 people can join that.
Right. Club. Speaking of that a little bit, have you paid, like, do you own a Champions Club moment? Let me ask you.
So funny thing, as I was writing this last weekend, when I wrote it because I wanted to complete my series 1 base. I didn't know what I was missing.
Yeah.
But then I wanted to buy a champion moment before I released the tool because I thought if I released the tool, people might go buy one because it's easier to buy one.
Right.
So I had to make sure I bought one, and then basically within 30 minutes of me buying it, then I'm like, oh, hey guys, I wrote the tool, right? Because I wanted to make sure I wasn't like accidentally
starting a bull run.
Yeah, it's happened before. So I bought one, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. But interestingly enough, like I had to ping a bunch of my friends who knew about UFC because I didn't know what to buy. Like even as a first time user, like looking at these names, like why are these names important? Like the context of the event, the context of the fight, or whatever. I don't know, and I think they could, like UFC could do a better job articulating this, like to a new user like me. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I hopefully too, as the platform grows, like the content around it grows, whether that's specifically from UFC Strike or that's from other UFC fans that are involved in UFC Strike, like creating some stuff around that. Because I agree, I am someone, and I've talked about this before, but that. Like I was, sort of would follow UFC. If there was a big fight, I'd pay attention to it and get involved. But really when the pandemic started and that was the only thing up and running, that was kind of how I got into it. Cause I was like, I need to do something. And that was how I've gotten into it. But same thing, like outside of like searching for podcasts or like reading an article on ESPN, it is hard to find like the analysis that would line up a little bit better with specifically with UFC Strike, instead of just looking at betting odds to be like, okay, well, I guess this person is the favorite this weekend. So I am hopeful that, like, as and including Team Hold as well, like hopefully we get sharper at the Strike content we're creating instead of me turning on the camera on Friday being like, let's watch this idiot fumble through UFC Strike. But I love this. I think this is great. Anything that makes it a little bit easier to sort your collection is important. But anyway, so you bought a champion moment.
Yeah.
Which one did you get?
The Bisping.
The Bisping. What are your thoughts? Because I'm assuming, here we go, Michael Bisping. There we go, low ask 849.
I bought it like $790 something. So I'm in the money right now.
There we go. Printing.
This tool is working out for me already.
Did you pay attention? Like, were there a handful of buys after you threw the tool out?
I haven't really been paying attention. I've been so preoccupied with other things.
That's like getting married tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
What were your thoughts on here? I'm going to move this from the screen for a little bit. What were your thoughts on like the, let's say, utility that comes with the champion moment? Because I thought it seemed like a different way of approaching these like legendary moments. And that like piqued my interest a little bit.
I really liked it. Like when I first saw it, I'm like, this is a really cool experiment because I think the teams are running independently. And I really liked it. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I wish they had something like this on Top Shot where you can a legendary. It's special somehow, right?
Right.
So I like it, and I wanted to own one. I just didn't know again what to buy. So
yeah.
Why I'm running this tool again to learn a little bit more about it, and I hope to integrate things like just more context about the fight and the event. Because as a new user, like it shouldn't be overwhelming to like figure out what to buy or what to collect.
Yeah, I was talking with Dustin about this because Dustin really is a big UFC fan, and he's very interested in getting one of these champion moments, which I just think is cool, right? Because it wasn't Yeah, like I compare it to All Access with what Top Shot does occasionally. And this feels a little bit different, right? Because we're not going to reward like 12 people, fly them across country, do all this stuff. But it's like, hey, if you have access to this and you're either in town for a fight or the fight comes to your town and you get yourself here, look at this incredible experience you can have when you get there. It feels like the nice middle ground between, oh my God, the world is your oyster, to here's what you can do with this specific thing. And that I feel like that's just the beginning of what we could see with these type of legendary moments. And it goes back to, I think it was Jacob or maybe it was Alan. Somebody said this like a long time ago, being like, we want the legendaries to feel legendary, right? And this is a way that happens, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it makes sense to me, like eventually in NBA land, at least for me to walk into a Raptors game and to be treated a little bit differently because like I am a Raptors collector, right? Like that would make sense. Like if there was a way to upgrade a seat or something like that would be incredible.
Yeah.
So what UFC Strike is doing, like I wanted to be a part of it, even though I'm not a fan yet. Like I am, but I want to learn more about it. I'm not a fan like most people are fans.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Callum said in the chat saying UFC London with the champs was awesome. Yeah. And that's, again, like the fact that, you're in London and all of a sudden UFC's happening there this weekend. And it's like, okay, I'm already going to the fight. Maybe I go get a champion moment. Which sounds like a crazy expense, but you're like, maybe I go get a champions moment so I can experience that. And I like too that they also, because I think it's going to run through 2023, and you can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, that you have access to this specific type of thing through 2023. And then I'm sure it'll evolve into something else as well. And I just like that. I feel like they're going to continue growing and building off of this this program. It's just very exciting. It's very exciting to see just that it can be done differently, and that they're able to like throw some stuff against the wall and see what works and what doesn't. And the legendary thing is incredible. I'm in it. I'm in for it. All right. Anything else that we should like highlight specifically?
Let's put your name in at the very top.
All right. People are going to out me on not owning a lot of UFC moments, but let's do it. Although, will it? Wait, this says I own champions. Does it?
No. It lists everything, and then it basically just adds the quantity at the very end. It adds 2 columns or 3 columns.
So by sorting like this will tell me what I have, right?
Yeah, and you see you have dupes because under your own you have 2, and it lists both those 2. So why this is cool is if you click on the second one, you can immediately list it. Right? It's not clunky, and it's sorted by. I think you can. Why did that change?
No. I think, yeah.
Oh, there it is. It's there you go. Perfect.
I think it's because I'm zoomed in like one time so people can see it. Wow, that's amazing. So this takes you right to, like, you click any one of these, it takes you right to that moment. There you go. Wow.
Yeah. So if you have a dupe, you can sell it. If you're missing one, you can fill in your set, right? Like you have I see you have series 1 base, right? So if you typed in under series 1 and set base, and then you can kind of figure out what you're missing. Right. Like I try to complete my contender sets. That's what I was after.
Okay. Yeah. I originally had series 0, and then I had all of them and then moved off them during one of the big challenges with the plan to come back in, but I just thought it was a little inflated. But yeah, so if you, okay, I see this.
So if you scroll to the very bottom, you can see like the value of your Series 1 collection right now. It's like, okay, you have $85 or sorry, $65.
There we go. Look at this. This is it's so funny because I was fooling around with this a little bit yesterday in preparation for today, and I totally missed the totals column. Like I was just scrolling through the moments, but I love that this is all that you're able to quickly look at this. So I've got like nine series 1 for a total of $65 right now.
Well, what's interesting is like, to own the entirety of series 1, it would cost you approximately $29,000, right? If you scroll to the very top again and you type in contender under the tier, we can see how much that costs. I don't think it's much. This is basically like the base set. So if you scroll to the very bottom again, it costs $245 to basically own a series 1 UFC base set, which I think is kind of cool. That's why I did it. I'm like, I want to complete at least that. I'm not going to be able to own every champion moment. That's cool, but this is fun.
Yeah, I like that. I like that we can see. And again, this right here, this is almost like zooming out a little bit and seeing everything that's out on the marketplace, because it's a little bit easier to do it this way than on the marketplace right now. But you're right. Oh, I keep going back to what you said earlier. That's $245 completes the entire Series 1 set. And that's it. That's how, hashtag early it is. But which is exciting.
I forget how much go to the very top again. How much is Series 0? That's like the OG,
Yeah.
I don't think it's much either. It's probably
no, I don't think so. Well, and they had also printed way more of the Series 0 moments than they did of Series 1. So yeah,
$192 for Series 0. Like, that's pretty great.
They're basic ones, yeah.
I've already got I think 1 or 2 airdrops out of this, maybe 3. But like, if you own the full Series 0 set.
Yeah, I mean, and they've done like such a good job with the challenges I'll talk about a little bit too. And I can let you go before the challenges too. Now that I know that your wedding is like legit tomorrow, I'm not going to take up the full hour of your time. I wanted to get to Colton's question though, because I like this too. He says about how long does it take you to develop these tools? I imagine it's a little bit easier after doing this a couple of times for like Top Shot, or is it still?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I started from scratch on my other Top Shot tool a couple of weeks ago, but basically this UFC tool I wrote on Sunday. Took me a day to kind of figure it out. So
wow. There we go. I was ready for it. It's like, yeah, it's a couple of weeks, tinkering around. He's like, nah, dude, maybe like 6 or 7 hours.
It's pretty basic. The most difficult part is usually like how to grab the data.
Yeah.
And then once you have it, it's just basically like formatting and displaying. But
I think these things, and just to give you a little bit of credit too, like when Top Shot started booming a little bit, I think having these tools is so important, because not only does it tell you like, oh my God, this is how much this thing is worth, but just like it helps some of those edges of like understanding the marketplace a little bit better than just kind of blindly throwing darts at different moments. And I think it only helps it grow. So thank you for, creating these things, because it is helpful for like the user. It's also helpful just for you want more ways to interact with stuff, right? You want to be able to like look at your collection and look at the market and like, okay, that's where the fun and excitement comes from this, I think.
Absolutely. I think more of these tools, the better. One of on my to-do list is to write some documentation on how people can build their own tools. That's actually one of my to-do things, because I think everyone's just better off with more of these tools existing, like whatever it is.
Absolutely. I remember when other stuff started coming out, and I believe you even said it. Maybe it was on the First Mints podcast? I remember hearing you say something along these lines, where it's like, it's not like the competition is bad. Like the competition is good. If like OTM exists and the collective exists and Momentum Labs exists, it forces them to continue to build, to be better,
Absolutely. You need competition. Like otherwise people get stagnant. People get like complacent and like, oh, I built something, it's good enough. Like, no, you got to keep iterating on it, because if everyone has the same features, then what makes them unique?
Right. Exactly. And I feel like you've been the building blocks for a lot of that stuff. So, and hopefully because I know like on the Moment hasn't really created too much stuff for UFC Strike. I think the collective's done a little, and Evaluate Market has done a very little bit, but not more of just like this moment's worth this. And this is a little bit more expansive, I think.
Yeah, like I don't like leaning into the financial part of this stuff. I've recognized that's the part that I have the least amount of fun with. Like if you go into this just collecting things and you just enjoy it as a hobby, like within the context of like how much you can afford to spend to build a collection and whatever, then I think you have a lot more fun with it, as opposed to like, oh, I bought this for this, it has to do this, or I'm stressed out that it hasn't like doubled in price or whatever.
Right.
I'm not really interested in that part of it.
Yeah. And I think having more things like this helps that conversation, because when there's not a lot of tools available and different ways to interact with the platform, that's where the conversation lies. I think that's been one of the benefits of UFC Strike, with all of these different challenges they're rolling out and the burning that's been happening, as well as with what Top Shot's doing with locking and the burning and crafting and all of that. The more ways we can interact with the platform, the less the conversation is just revolved around the money. The money's still going to be important. People are always
the money is super important. Don't get me wrong, because like this all costs money. It's all real money, right? Like I funded my entire Top Shot account on my credit card. Like it was a lot of money.
Yes, we can look at that.
Yeah, it was a ton of money, and I'm surprised my bank didn't like flag it multiple times that they should have. I think they did it once, and I'm like, okay, how do they
no,
keep letting this go through? But yeah, it is important, exactly. But no, I enjoy writing these tools. It's like this to me is just like a hobby, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing this to make any money. I don't think I ever will. Like this is just because the community, it needs to exist, right? And I hope to like spark the mind of someone who wants to build a better version of it.
I guarantee it will. I'm sure people I'm sure the thousands who are watching this right now will will see this conversation and be inspired to do something. But again, the same thing happened with Top Shot, with what you were building there, and that like was the Kickstarter for it. And I'm sure if you're on the UFC Strike team too, you love to see this and encourage this type of behavior from collectors to try to continue to build out the platform.
Absolutely. I mean, Top Shot's got a lot of tools right now, which is great. But UFC could use some love. I think All Day could use a bit of love too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. I'd love to just kind of show just the if you go to my homepage, my website, like intangible.market, just to show like I have other just like kind of ridiculous tools that I've built.
Yeah.
Just so people can understand, like I just build things that kind of make that I find interesting, like that interactive moment at the very bottom under Top Shot.
Yeah, sorry, I saw JP in there say I'm inspired, but I'm not going to do anything. Thank you, JP.
Yeah, totally right. Like I built this a while back. If you scroll to the very bottom and then click, they'll click the Cube A, I think.
Which one? Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, just the first button. I think it doesn't really matter. Either one will work. But like it's a spinning Top Shot cube. Right?
Oh, amazing!
I built this because it was like I could. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is the moment cube. Oh, I want to see how this kind of works. Right. So I built things like this.
Hold on, I want to go back to Cube A now that I realize I clicked
Cube A, yeah. They're two different, like one works on mobile, one doesn't. They're similar.
There we go. This is the right one.
But it's like, if you wanted to kind of interact with the cube, because all we have from our Top Shot moments is like the video, right?
Right.
It's like, oh, well, wait a minute. What if I want to kind of interact with the cube? And then if you go back twice on the browser, and the paper moment underneath that, like I made this as like a Christmas ornament for a tree, right?
This is great.
And basically you can print your own. It just generates a PDF of whatever moment you want. You cut it out and it assembles a box, like a cube. And it's pretty fun. But this was like a way for me to communicate to people who are obsessed with the idea that if it's not physical, it's not worth anything.
Right.
It's like, no, because the value isn't in the paper. It's in the license.
Yeah.
So anyone can print this at home. It doesn't mean it's worth anything. It's fun to put together.
Right.
But like, who cares if it's paper or cardboard? Like the value is in the title, it's in the license. So that was like one fun thing that I built.
No, I remember when this came out, the Christmas ornaments. I think you might have even gotten an NBA Top Shot retweet for that one. That was great.
I think I did.
I recommend it. I'm gonna drop this link into the chat right now too. Recommend playing around with it a little bit, and you can kind of see some of the NBA Top Shot stuff that started it off. But again, like UFC Strikes right there. And then we always joke we should always check the NBA team player NFT.
Oh, this is hilarious. It took a while to compile, actually.
Yeah.
So basically I went through and tried to find any team or player that released an NFT collection. So this is quite a comprehensive list.
Wow.
It's everyone that I knew of. So some of them are on like Polygon or Ethereum or Flow or Solana or whatever. But I wanted to kind of make this list because I wanted to see who would rug me the fastest.
Right. And did De'Aaron Fox win? Did he?
I think he won. There've been a few that have like folded. Was it players only?
Players
right?
only.
Like,
that was tough. That was a tough one.
There've been a few of them, so it's interesting to kind of see these things slowly die off.
Yeah, I didn't even know about the Zion one. The Steph one I do remember learning about. Baron Davis Black Santa. I did not remember learning about that either. That's pretty incredible. I just goes to show you too how much more successful Dapper has been than some of these that we're seeing here. But wow, this is good. But yeah, definitely I recommend checking out intangible.market, especially for you. I know today's UFC Strike focused, but go in there, poke around. It'll help you complete your set a little bit faster and just get a feel for what your collection looks like. But Veerman, thanks so much, man. Again, I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
Yeah,
I know you got a big weekend. Congratulations. That's so exciting.
Thank you. Same to you. It's, again, pleasure to be on the show. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
And,
we're gonna do this a bit more. Actually, I think I'm gonna see you next Friday. So now you're immediately gonna be.
Oh yeah, next Friday. That'd be a good show. That'd be a great show.
I'm really excited for that. We're on the hunt for one more guest to come on as we talk about the Dapper employee policy. We were going to have MBL as well, but we need to find someone to match your brains on the other side of the argument, I think. So I'm really looking forward to that. And we'll have Janie and Packrip on that show as well. It's going to be a good time. But look, so we went like a year and a half without getting you on. Now it's going to be 2 times in 2 weeks. All right.
Okay, so it averages out, I guess, to like once every 6 or 8 months. This is great.
Yeah, which is that's a normal guest time. So I think that's good. All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. Really appreciate it. And good luck this weekend. Have fun.
Thank you so much. Thanks again. See you later.
See you, Steve. Shout out Veerman, man. He, again, like one of the best. He's like one of the nicest people I've met in the space, and always excited to get a chance to chat with him. Definitely go check out the intangible market and look at the UFC tools. I'm excited to dive into UFC a little bit today too. I was listening to an interview. Excuse me. I was listening to an interview about UFC 277 and the Nunez Pena rematch, and I was looking at the odds. So the odds right now, I'll pull up DraftKings here because that's what I have pulled up. Not an official sponsor, but DraftKings, reach out, bro. Let me boost this up a little bit so we see it. So this is a rematch. Juliana Pena is a plus 225 underdog against Amanda Nunez, who's minus 265. And it's funny. So Pena won the last fight against Nunez. This is a rematch and is still an underdog. And in the interview, Pena was like, yeah, everyone has said how Nunez slipped on a banana peel, and that's the reason she lost. So I'm really looking forward to that main event fight. I think that's going to be a good one. So really excited for UFC 277 this weekend. Jay Bird saying buy a champion moment live. That was, dude, I'm sorry, man. I would love to get a champion moment. I would love to be a part of that exclusive club. I think your boy is going to have to get married first before they start spending lots of money on some NFTs. Okay, so we're going to wait until that's over, and then maybe we'll take a peek. But would love, as we start thinking about building out Team Hold's presence a little bit more, we are in talks of, like, I don't know, maybe creating like a community account or maybe purchasing one as Team Hold. We'll talk about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to UFC 277. The book thinks the first fight was a fluke. We will see. Yeah. And that's what a lot of the conversation is around that. And Pena, I think it was on Jim Norton, and I'm blanking on the other guy's podcast that I listened to. Yeah, put it on the registry. Listen, if you guys want to buy one and send it to me, sure, I will accept that as a wedding gift. Go for it, gang. Not enough people sending wedding gifts. But speaking of which, I meant to do this before Veerman left. I was supposed to do this before Veerman left, but we are gonna Bart, a member of the community, donated a Levine Cool Cat. And we're going to give a cool cat away. So go ahead and like the stream, subscribe, put hashtag Veerman into the chat in order to qualify for that. We'll give that away towards the end of the stream. Also, Jay Bird out here. We are now like $755 more to go. So there we go. Everybody keeps sending a buck at a time, and we'll get there together. But yeah, like the stream, subscribe, hashtag Veerman into the chat. That will give you a shot at a Top Shot moment. But let's talk a little bit about the challenges happening over at UFC Strike. UFC Strike and NFL All Day, almost in congruence, put together these tiered challenges that dropped yesterday that were both pretty exciting. So let's go over it right now. This is in the Discord too. So if you guys aren't in the UFC Strike Discord, I recommend getting in there. That's where you're going to get most of the announcement and information. But they've got an easy, a medium, a hard, and then obviously the Champion Club Pass. But the easy mode is you need to own one Derek Lewis contender moment. Derek Lewis, who's fighting this weekend, also an underdog. And I feel like Derek Lewis hasn't won in a while. But just for owning one of these contender moments, you're going to get a Derek Lewis hype NFT. That's max 1 per collector. So that's all. That's it. That's the easy mode. You own a Derek Lewis, you get a Derek Lewis. The medium mode, You have to own all 4 of the following challenger/fandom moments. You need Jiyeon Kim, you need Sean O'Malley, who bummed me out last fight, Holly Holm, and Brandon Royval. So you need all 4 of those moments. So it's Kim, O'Malley, Holm, Royval for a fan-voted fandom moment from UFC 277. This is like one of my favorite aspects of what UFC Strike is doing. So you're having a big fight this weekend. The fans get to come together and vote on what is like the moment that should come from the weekend, and then that ends up being the reward. I think that is tight. And in the hard mode, you got to own both of the following champion moments. You need Nunez and Pena from the main event, and then the reward is going to be a round 1 premium pack and a UFC 274 Fighters Elite pack. Again, max 1 per collector. And then lastly, the Champion Club Pass. Own any of the following champion moments: Nunez, Pena, or Moreno, and you complete both the easy and medium mode challenges automatically. So just by owning those, you get all of those rewards. JP sending me Canadian dollars. God damn it, JP. Thank you. Thank you. Jim Norton, you listen to? Yeah, occasionally for UFC stuff. For UFC, everybody's typing now. My balls was hot. Everybody's typing that into the chat. Yeah, I've got like mixed feelings on my my Jim Norton thoughts, but I'm trying to become more educated in the UFC streets. So I've upped my podcast games because that is the only way I retain information. Andrew said, doubled my money selling Kim. So that's what I wanted to ask, because the Patty challenge ended, and I believe that moment landed around $38. So how are people approaching the UFC Strike challenge this time? Are there 2 different mindsets? They're like, hey, I'm a diehard collector, so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to complete the challenges. Or are people more now looking at what the rewards have been and like, wow, if it pumps, I'm going to sell? Because Andrew said doubled my money selling that. How are other people approaching these challenges? As you saw from my collection, like I honestly, I'm like in an infancy mode where I'm just going to continue to line up for packs. If I see something that I'm interested in, I'm going to grab, but I'm probably not doing too much activity with like challenges unless I already own the thing, which honestly is kind of how I've been approaching NFL all day as well too. Like honestly, and Top Shot, like the challenge, which again, I don't want this to sound as like I'm fudding the challenge game. I just like, it's not moving the needle for me in the way that it once did. And I think that's fine. I'm happy the challenges are happening, but I don't like need to go out and get the challenge. You know what I'm saying? That's how I've been approaching. Seth giving me some stuff. He said, listen to Helwani or Morning Combat. I've listened to Morning. I like Morning Combat. So I will. I feel like, did I like scratch my face? What's going on here? I don't know. Maybe it's just the weird lighting. Sometimes with the lighting and the sun coming in, I get like, yeah, it looks, what the hell is that? Huh. All right. I don't know. Well, this is what we're going to do for the next 20 minutes, by the way. We're going to see what's wrong with Mike's face. This is why you don't buy a nice camera. Use a shit camera. You'll never see anything. All right, more love for Helwani. All right, I'll get into the Helwani streets. Yeah, people still putting Veerman in. What are we up to? We're up to 49 entrants with 82 watching. You guys are missing out here. So like the stream, subscribe, #Veerman. So far, no one has said anything besides Andrew Ward about how he's approaching the challenge. Andrew said Kim is the only one that popped. Had 2, as you could see, a month ago, and she was on the upcoming card. Was $40 today, $100. There we go. Nice little flippy flip. Nice little flippy flip. But yeah, I'm excited to see how some of these moments move. Like the Nunez Pena one is going to be a lot of fun. What else do we have on this card that is noteworthy? Moreno and Cara France is going to be fun. That one, Moreno is not a heavy favorite, but -215. Terrence McKinney is like a monster, -850. Jamal Hill's -260 against Thiago Santos. Anything else that sticks out? Sergey Spivak, and my pronunciation is going to be terrible, but pretty big fave. Wait, I wanted to see the Derek Lewis one. That was the other one that was getting talked about a little bit. Here we go. So yeah, Lewis is +125 against Pavlovich, who's -145. That feels like it's going to be relatively close. I don't know. Derek Lewis, I feel like since I started following Derek Lewis, I got bummed. Chop said, so are we going to see you in Vegas for UFC 279? When is that? When's UFC 279? Anthony Smith versus Ank. What's Anthony Smith versus Ank? Let's look at that one. I thought I just had that up too. I feel like I saw it a second ago. Oh wait, we're now in October. What am I doing? I'm scrolling too far. Anthony Smith. Oh, here he goes. Wow, Ank's minus 540. Good Lord. Minus 540 is a lot. That's some big time faves. Big time faves. Early September. Chops, I'm not going to Vegas in early September. MMA Art says, you think Nunez retires if she loses in the same way? I tell you what, if Nunez loses in the same way, I don't know if she retires, but I don't think she will be this heavy of a favorite against really anyone for a while. I think you can't say you slipped on 2 banana peels in a row. So I think if we see this same type of performance against Nunez again, against Pena again, we won't see Nunez as a favorite. That's still -2. I don't know. I feel like that Pena might be that good money. But anyways, going back to Chop saying early September, I will not be in Vegas early September. I will not be traveling. I don't think until like the new year, most likely, unless something fun and exciting happens. Nunez win and they fight a third time. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get like the third. I almost don't want Nunez to win because I hate the dialogue around like that. That was a fluke. I don't like that. I don't know what else. So no, there wasn't a lot of challenge talk. You guys don't have a lot of interest in the challenge. It sounds like I thought that was going to be a big talking point for the peeps, but I'm not seeing that. Nunez has dominated for years. Maybe Pena is her nemesis. Yeah, maybe. That's what's so crazy about UFC. Like the switch flips immediately, right? It's not like a slow descent into you don't have like Peyton Manning, right? Where you have Peyton Manning in the Colts, dominant. Peyton Manning in the Broncos for a little bit, pretty dominant. And then like there's a slow decay, and then to his last year where Manning's thrown like 8-yard outs, right? That's the furthest he could throw. UFC doesn't feel like it happens that way. It feels like you lose twice in a row and then you're garbage. Like that, there's not a lot of not a lot of movement in that sense. Nunez has a virtual gym and game in my sports metaverse land. Okay, Stachunk. But yeah, it feels like the movement is pretty drastic, right? You go from on top of the world to kind of out of the game, has been after a while. Excuse me. Sorry for clearing my throat without without muting. Colin says the vote on the challenge is the best part, keeps us interested during the event. I totally agree, man. The more that you can match up the in-fight, in-game experience with the collecting experience, the better. That's how this stuff like really pops, in my opinion. So knowing that you're like watching the fight, being like, there it is, that's the moment. I think that's what's like truly exciting about it. That's what's going to move the needle for like real UFC fans. I think, at least that's what I think. Nunez said was struggling with COVID last fight, and in hindsight should have postponed. There we go. It's easy to be like, in hindsight, we should have postponed after getting your ass whooped. You know what I mean? The double champ moments, getting 2 premium packs is pretty cool, and I like that challenges are used in previous fandom moments. Yeah, I also like that it hasn't been. My favorite thing about the challenges that they've been doing, and NFL All Day as well, and now Top Shot's kind of veering into this lane, is that it's not cookie cutter, right? Each challenge seems to be a little bit different, whether it's burning, whether it's tiered, whether it's different types of moments that make it. And I like when it's hard to front run. I like that when you do speculation and you're right, it feels like a huge W, but you're wrong more often than you're right. I think all of that stuff is like good for the platform. To the House is saying Gustafsson had a slow decline. Okay. All right. Listen, I'm going to be wrong on, I would say, 72% of my UFC takes. This isn't like hoops where I feel like I really, really know what I'm talking about. I think with UFC, we're learning as we go. Over here, outside of me building DFS lineups. That I do feel confident in. I think UFC DFS is one of the most fun because there's everybody like circles the same like 5 fighters, and it's very easy to get different. I think that's what moves the needle for me a little bit. The squad goals have been pretty similar, says Regulator. Yeah, they were pretty different early on, and then it seems like I don't want to say they gave up, but it seems like they have been a little bit more consistent as of late. But I don't know. All right, To the House, after telling me I was wrong, it's like, you know what though? Mostly right. Thank you, To the House. Let's pull this back up again just to remind the people we're giving away. Shout out Bart. We're giving away, I believe it's a Zach Levine Cool Cat. I should actually check that. I should check that just to make sure I don't have to go buy one now. Let me just double check the moment that he gave away. Yeah, if you guys have more UFC takes for this weekend, let me know in the chat. Would love to discuss them. Also, just a reminder. So today at 3:00, we'll be back with a little bit. It is a Zach Levine Cool Cat. Thank goodness. We'll be back with our happy hour show at 3:00, and we're going to be talking some UFC stuff as well. Dustin's going to be back, and I know he's excited to talk UFC. I want to talk to him about he owns a different legendary moment outside of UFC, and he's been talking about flipping to potentially get one in UFC. So I want to have that conversation. We'll also have James, Mr. Bagged Wine, from the chat. He's going to come on. We'll talk some F1 this afternoon as well while we crack open a cold one and welcome in the weekend. So that's 3:00 today. So please stay tuned for that. Seth said exactly. UFC challenges would be too easy if it was only who's fighting. Love that they are switching it up. I totally agree. Watched Adesanya YouTube show. He said France is on fire and never looked better. Okay. France is the dog too, right? France is. So let's see. Is Adesanya good at betting? That's what we need to know. Yeah. France, Cara France plus 185. So we need to know. For those interested, we'll be chatting in the Team Hold Discord during the fights. Hell yeah, Joker Rock. Let me drop a link into the Discord so you can get in there if you're not in there already. Obviously, follow me on Twitter and follow Team Hold on Twitter. Do all those things. I don't know if you guys don't have anything else, we might call it here just so I can save a little bit. Izzy is training partners with KKF. He is not going to say KKF is looking bad. See, this is the type of context we need. Thank you, Bonilla. Because I do. That's like me saying, like, what's a good example of that? Like, hey, I don't have a good example. I was gonna say something about my family, and then I'm like, why am I outwardly saying negative things about my family that I don't agree with? But yes, I like this take one. I think, yeah, that I'm excited for that fight. I'm excited for the Nunez Pena rematch too. I think that's going to be a good one. I think there's going to be incredible talking points after that one. That's what excites me the most. Because if Pena wins, it's like it wasn't a fluke. Nunez is toast. And if Nunez wins, we're going to hammer that fluke conversation even more. Just being like, see, told you. I think that's going to be pretty good. Yeah, they are the best part of the MMA team of all time. Yeah. All right, gang. Let's Moreno wins and fights. Figgy finishes him again and closes the chapter, I think. I like this take, MMA Art. I like this take. All right, let's spin this wheel. Let's give away this Zach Levine Cool Cat. If you win this thing, all you got to do is shoot me a DM either at Mike Sakarian or in our Discord. And then just a reminder, hey, if there's some new people here today, make sure you like and subscribe to the stream. But also, every Friday is our UFC Strike show. Hopefully in the future, we'll be doing some playback stuff around UFC as well once things settle down on my end a little bit. And then again, the happy hour show today at 3:00, we're going to be chit-chatting some UFC. Checklist due out today, James Helton says. I'm assuming you're talking about Top Shot. So I know Top Shot has the spaces, I think, at noon Eastern today, right? And so I imagine we get some conversation around that. I do imagine we get some conversation around team checklists, which I think, before we spin this, I think is an interesting conversation. And I was going to say we'll talk about it during the happy hour. That information will be out. I would love to know, because I think a lot of people are like, hey, these set bottlenecks and player bottlenecks are going to really pump once the announcement is made. And I can't tell if that is true or if it's already pumped, right? If it's already pumped and we're already aware that that's what's going to happen, but the conversation is kind of like, yeah, once this happens, it's going to moon. I just don't know if all of that information is already out there. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, it's kind of when we used to be like, oh, don't sell until the challenge goes live. But there was the moments were actually higher because everyone was already thinking the same thing. I can't really tell how many of the users are already that plugged in versus how many are going to be finding out for the first time today. I'm interested to see the market move when that information comes out. Also, shout out Seth says, hey, love seeing some UFC content. Come on, Shot Talking. Yeah, go check out Shot Talking. Check out some of the stuff that Seth and Mr. Jebbers do together. They do some good stuff. So pay attention. Yeah, a lot of people in the chat saying, see, I think it already pumped. But then if everyone's thinking that, does that mean we're going to get a pump? You know what I mean? It's hard to tell. All right, here we go. Zach Levine, Cool Cats. Let's spin it. Remember, shoot me a DM either at Mike's Karen on the Twits or on the Discord. I appreciate everyone being here this morning. It's going to Badavine. Badavine, congrats on the big dubs, sir. Good to have you back from vacation, as you mentioned earlier in the week. Big dubs for Badavine. Again, thanks everyone for being here. I hope you tune in this afternoon as we end the week together. If not, I hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll be back next week for my last week before a little vacation. So, hang around. All right, we out.
Well, the top shot streets are a dangerous place, so